hop on the table. Let's see. Now that we're live and recording, pull up my notes because I can't do a damn thing without them. All right, welcome, my friends. Welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your lord and commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for tonight's event, Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader, Tithes of Acheron, Episode 3 of Segmentum First into the Maw. A very long, lengthy title that one day I'm going to figure out how to truncate appropriately. With me, of course, are my wonderful Grimdark players, Rodance, Alturios, Warner, Darius, and Rev. Let's take a very quick moment to check in with them and see what's new and exciting for them. Rodance, we always start with you because you're awesome. What's new and exciting for you, my friend?
They broke things at work.
Shocker.
So I'm babysitting now because I can't finish anything until this one last system comes back up for me to send stuff to it. So yeah, I got to sit for however long that takes. Also, you cussed in the first minute.
I did. I did. It's not one of the big ones, I think. Also, I'm not monetized, so I don't really care. I'm just trying to. I want to get in the habit for the one day in the far, far future. You know, roughly in the 41st millennium, probably when I get actually monetized. I think I need like, I don't know, 700 more viewing hours and like 1,000 viewers or 1,000 subs or something stupid. Rev,
That's
I'm
a
almost.
lot.
Well, you need 1,000 and 1,000 or something like that. So
you need to donate your soul.
Much like Ginger's, I don't have one. But not.
Am I coming through?
What?
I'm trying to figure out if I'm coming through clearly.
You are
Yes.
now. Don't move. What's new and exciting for you? 30 seconds.
Oh, well, I just got some pizza.
That's amazing. It's better than the hot dogs I had for dinner. All right, shall we move on? I feel like we're going to move on.
Prisoners might go.
Rev is having issues with his mic because it's wireless, and he forgets what the range is on it, and sometimes a plane will fly overhead, and it will just, like, disrupt his microphone. I don't know.
And the neighbor in the house on the other side of the street and three apartment buildings down turns on their microwave.
Yeah, it's weird. And you'll hear him just randomly pipe in the middle of somebody else's conversation. Mic check, can you hear me? Am I coming through? And you're like, yes, Rev.
I apologize.
Shut up. Rev, I'm giving you shit. That's what I do.
I know.
Darius, what's new and exciting for you, my friend?
So anyway, Omar, can you hear me now?
God. This guy. Darius, quick, before he interrupts and I have to mute him again.
A friend is always welcome at the shield.
And yeah, that's it. You're done.
Well, I have forgotten the password for our table.
It is pinned in the Discord
I need
channel.
to go back and look it up again.
Yeah. It's in the Discord channel.
I know.
Is that where I can find it, Omar? Because I can't remember it either.
Really? Oh, man, I don't know if I can drop an F-bomb just yet. Actually, I can, because I'm not monetized. Every fucking week, every fucking week. Wow, I can't get my R's and W's in the right order. Go ahead, Darius.
I am now at Gen Con. Just got back from my meeting with the Catalyst demo team.
Nice.
Little
Sure you're gonna
Catalyst plug in our
Yeah.
Warhammer 40K stuff.
Listen, I have said this before, or at least I've said it before many times in my head. There will always be Battletech related content going on in my channel. Now, granted, we are doing Warhammer 40K right now, so that's a vast difference, but not terribly different. It's still people dying everywhere. It's just a matter of who's doing the killing. Well, congratulations at Gen Con. I hope you have a lot of fun. I feel like you're going to have about 72 hours worth of grinding in a 24-hour period. So good luck.
Yeah, I'm pretty much. That's a good description.
And I've never been to a con, so how would I know? Alturios, what's new and exciting with you, my friend?
I guess it's not new, but it's new for me. I had a friend dragging me into Sea of Thieves, and I've been enjoying that. So.
Are you enjoying
it? Playing it?
Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
I give you one more week before you rage quit. I love the idea of Sea of Thieves. I hate the fact that if you are someone like myself who can only really put 2 or 3 hours in a single play session, you spend all that time acquiring all that loot, and right as you get ready to go sell it and make all the bank for all your hard work, some crew of ass clowns comes in, destroys your shit, kills you multiple times, and takes your shit and sells it for themselves.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Rev. I played with a group of players that like destroying other people's ships and taking all their stuff.
I hear you. And I will also say, I have done the very same thing, where we just don't even bother trying to get our own stuff. We go steal other people's shit. Listen, I love the concept. I hate spending 3 hours enjoying the shit out of a beautiful game, and then having all of my progress lost, before I even have a chance to claim it.
There's a mode now called Safer Seas where you can play completely by yourself.
I have heard about that.
There's a what now?
It's a
Safer
PvE
Seas.
mode.
I refuse.
Sure.
I mean, you don't have to play it.
Yeah,
It's
nobody.
not-
Yeah, you don't have to listen. That's the cool thing about Sea of Thieves is when I get irritated enough, I can walk away.
Omar, I hate to call you out like this. I'd never bookmarked your Twitch page. I just always typed in Omar Krieg Twitch,
Uh-huh.
and it was always the first result. It's not anymore.
Oh, really?
No, it's Omar RPG or Omario RPG.
Well, those
Whoever
sons of
they are.
bitches. I'm gonna have to. That's it. We're gonna raid their channel at the end of this, and we're going to utterly destroy them. We're not raiding them like a traditional Twitch raid. No,
Oh, I did have it
this is
bookmarked. I found
PvP raid.
I did
Oh, no.
bookmark it and I found it.
Steal all their booty.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna see a Thieves their ass right off of Twitch. That's a joke. We're not actually gonna do that. Oh, Mario RPG or whatever your name is. Good luck, friend. Okay, now that I'm done being a good public servant. Arturius, you got anything else before we go to Mr. Rapier Man?
No, that's it.
Oh,
I don't
man, I
have
gotta be
pizza,
careful
so I'm
how
not
I
cool.
enunciate that.
Well, you can always use the technical term for those particular swords, which is schiavona.
I feel like I'm gonna have better luck with the word that comes really close to something totally different.
Or you could just call them basket hilt swords.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, swords is simple enough for me. Anyway, Warner, what's new and exciting for you, man?
Well, not to dredge up too many painful memories for the rest of the folks here, but I still play MechWarrior Online,
Oh,
and
oh my
I-
God.
made-
You and like your 3 cousins, maybe?
no, but last year, one of my sweaty comp tryhard friends asked me to fill in on a rewards team for somebody who couldn't make it, and this year I am on the team proper, so I will be getting the rewards.
Oh, nice. So this is, and you're
So-
talking about the annual,
Championship series.
yeah, I forget the exact name of it, but yeah, that's it right there. That's awesome,
So-
man.
That's Solaris.
It is not Solaris anymore.
Oh.
Huh.
There is no Solaris anymore, except for
Oh.
an event queue.
Oh, they took the whole Solaris thing out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually really enjoyed that. Other than getting annihilated, ironically or unironically, by an annihilator all the time.
Yeah. I think when they released the Crusader and the heavy division became nothing but Krail face staring contests is when they said that it was time to wrap it up.
I suppose that's fair.
That and I imagine Hags would become a top contender there as well.
It's a possibility, but they ended that long before.
Hopefully, the second set of audio didn't show up on the stream there.
It did for a moment.
Well,
Well,
because I
in
forgot
image
the volume.
did.
I forgot
Oh,
to volume my
fair.
phone down before I turned my phone on to Twitch, so I can keep an eye on chat.
Echo.
Yeah. Oh, I had that happen in one of my first streams where I would have because back then I only had one monitor, which made it even more challenging. But I would have my phone right in front of me, and then I would start hearing in my head. I wouldn't hear it on the phone because I had the volume turned down, just not down all the way. So then I'd start hearing this echo that would not stop. Oh my God, it was scary. At any rate, that was a long, long, long time ago in this galaxy. I think I don't really have anything new and exciting. I got a number of potential spam calls today that were incredibly irritating. But other than that, I think my day has been relatively normal. And there was a really good episode of Alien RPG Along the Frontier last night. You should check that out on YouTube if you haven't already. It was an amazing session with Rodance and 2 other people who are not here right now. It was an amazing time. But let's get back into the grim dark world where there's orcs and aliens that literally devour worlds. Previously on Tithes of Acheron Into the Maw, the rogue trader Brogadillo Van Breeze Gizbath III and attendant crew and senior staff. I'm never going to get it quite right. Just accept it and we can all move on together.
You can't move on if you don't get it right.
Watch me. I'm about to.
Do you think
Well,
that
then I
Rev
keep
is really
correcting
a
him.
move on kind of person?
At any rate, the rogue trader and attendant crew and senior staff, including Astropath Transcendent Winter, Arch-Militant Reinhardt der Ammerlungen, Explorator Icaros, and Void
Well,
Master...
that you can get
Oh my
right.
god, will you stop interrupting? Jesus, man. Anyway, here they have all met with each other and their benefactor, the Seneschal to the former Lord Captain of the Acheron Ferry, Marcellus Thale, an old ally of House Van Breeze, having recognized a family member arriving for the first time in over a century, and rumored to, at that meeting, it was just, oh, Jesus, I skipped a whole bunch of lines there. The first time in over a century, requested a meeting in order to discuss matters of potential glory. At that meeting, it was discovered that once upon a time, House Van Breeze had indirectly made contact with the treasure ship Righteous Path, a ship lost for hundreds of years and rumored to be filled to the brim and more with treasure plundered from a conquered planet. At that meeting, the rogue trader and company were ambushed, as it seems they were not the only ones who knew something about the treasure ship, but with the defeat of this ambush, the crew returns to their vessel to regather, interrogate, and plan their next moves. And that takes us to our very first scene, which is, as I recall, the Lord Captain wanted to interrogate his captives. We did very briefly talk about some things as a quick summarized view of the interrogation, but now we have the moment to actually interview.
Shall we pick up at the ship with the 3 prisoners and the escorted old man?
Yes, that's the plan. And we don't need to go into specific interrogation tactics, we'll say.
Oh, but I have a thing.
Oh dear. Well, take it away. I'm going to assume that much like the real world military, the 5 S's of prisoners is in play, and the first one is separate. So these 3 individuals that you have brought back are not.
Oh
in
no,
the
they're
same
not
cell.
separate yet.
Oh, they're not separate yet?
No, I'm addressing them together.
Oh, well, in that case, they are bound. They are not gagged, but they are definitely being watched very closely by Sergeant Cassius and your 8 or 9 other armsmen, as well as you guys, of course. And you are just inside your, let's call it docking corridor, or just inside the ship proper, I guess would be the proper way to call it. I believe the Lord Captain was getting ready to say something.
Sorry, I was distracted by a technical detail that needs to be addressed later. It appears that my portrait is being distorted on your stream.
Distorted.
Anyway.
Not sure what to do about that.
I haven't seen it for myself, but anyway, back in character. I have the 3 individuals there. The first thing that as we're coming aboard the ship is I'm going to tell the Seneschal to see to the old man's housing needs, put him up somewhere
we're
decent.
Over here. They're over there.
Somewhere safe.
You did mention you wanted to give him.
Oh,
better...
we each got 2.
Darius, you
Yes,
good?
yes.
So did he.
Am I still
I'm
coming
sorry,
through?
what?
Yeah, Darius, I don't know if you're having a conversation with somebody else, but you are coming through.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Yeah, Rev, you're good. I think Darius was having a sidebar.
No, for a second I just thought because that my mic had stopped transmitting. Sorry.
No worries. You wanted Thale to set Orbist Dre up with better accommodations on Port Wander, am I right?
I did. But now I'm going to, and so I quickly, say, decent housing, somewhere safe, set him up with an allowance to make sure that he's well fed and clothed.
You get a generic message back, or response in voice, as the case may be, that yes.
Shouldn't the Seneschal be there to greet us at the ship?
I feel like his duty's somewhere else on the ship at that particular moment, unless you requested him to be there. He will be attending to other
Okay.
duties on board. the
Well,
vessel.
if he would not immediately be there, then yes, I would request his presence and deal with it later.
Okay.
Secondly, I'm going to have him ushered away where it is the party and the prisoners and some guards.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that you men are all agents of. Have we already? They've already sort of spilled the beans as to who they work for.
I think they have mentioned, like when
Okay.
Cassius first captured them, that they mentioned something about Haderach Fell, because he asked a couple of questions and they said his name.
So, I'll say you are all agents of another rogue trader who has acted uncharitably, and as his representatives, normally he would face the punishment, but now it belongs to his representatives. So, I'll ask for a volunteer in his stead.
Can you make a perception roll for me? If you have, I don't have a character sheet open right in front of me, but I believe awareness is an actual skill, is it not?
Hold on.
Yes.
I'll say
awareness
I'll
is
ask for a volunteer, or you may decide amongst yourselves.
Well, I hear you. I just wanted an awareness roll, and this could be from anybody paying attention to these
Okay.
individuals.
Let me get my table
And
back
I will
up.
give you a plus. I'll give you a plus 10.
Okay. I am on the wrong side of that. It's gonna be the only thing wrong with being on my side of the table is I don't have easy access to the button.
Yes.
I'll
Rev,
take a roll at that.
Rev, you can fate that if you would like.
Ouch.
Alturios, you
fading-
could fate that
Not
if you
fading
like.
anything in.
Let me
See, the red hand is floating. Warner is indecisive.
I'm going to press the button. I just need to find
just
the
can't
button
find
first.
it. Oh,
It's
I'm
on
not
the
going to say what
side
came
of the
to mind.
table. There we go.
Oh.
Okay. I'm assuming that's a pass because
That
you just
does
rolled.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Reinhardt, you notice that these three individuals all bear the yellow gold rose on the green field insignia disc, indicating that they are part of House Fell. One of them, however, has that exact same symbology, except the rose has a drop of blood coming off one of the thorns.
All right. I'll point it out to the rogue trader. Based on the emblem over there, I think this man is senior.
Okay. Well, I'm still waiting for them to decide or for a volunteer.
Oh, yeah. Meanwhile, as you're perusing, trying to figure things out when I ask for an awareness roll, none of them, they look at each other a little bit, but they don't really say anything. You hear a few words spoken, but nothing of import. None of them are really quick to volunteer anything.
Very well. I'm going to choose one of the other.
Wow.
I wasted that.
Yeah, you did. I realize the viewers can't see the table, but Warner decided to roll for shits and giggles and got a fucking 1.
I was actually trying to reorient the roll percentage so it's not sideways but up and down.
Well,
Sure.
I'm going to choose one of the ones that was not pointed out as senior.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, and because I'm merciful, you will be spared. The volunteer was to reward anybody that stepped forward for bravery.
I think you see a few drops of sweat on the volunteer's forehead that weren't there a moment ago. And
No, the volunteer is getting spared, if I was not clear.
Yeah. He's got that look of like, and like I don't know, like his body language is just like all sorts of sudden nervousness that wasn't there a moment ago.
Icarus, a moment.
Yes.
I do believe the ship is in need of 2 additional servitors. Would you please escort the volunteer to be a witness to the 2 new servitors you create?
If that is your wish, Lord Captain.
We're not even going to try to get information out of them. We're just going to be like, all right, we know enough. They work for Haderach Fell. Lobotomize 2 of them, and the other one, make him watch.
That's in essence. I also have the head.
Oh yeah, you do have the head of Lady Atlas. Yes.
I'm going to procure a fine, ornate box of some sort, wrapped in a gift format, and include a letter. And once
A
and
gift
once the
bag?
serv
Sorry.
and once no more like a an ornate, some type of ornate box, more like a gift box, not a bag.
Yeah.
But I'm going to return the sealed box with a letter in the hands of the one that was spared to Sir Fell. Would you like the letter now or later?
Are you asking me that?
Yes.
In the interest of moving the scene along, let's say the individual that was voluntold to live understands the scenario, and the one that had the blood drop, it's like, as he's being led away, he's like, you do realize this is not going to turn out well for you. Haderach Fell is not one to look such a gesture the other way.
And he should not expect me to look this act of treachery and theft.
Tell him Ignatius will see him on the other side then.
I might
Ignatius
consider it.
fell.
Well,
Well, he's
Lose-
related.
losing someone's family member is such a shame.
And you see, that's like, when he says that, I probably didn't do the voice any justice, but like, Ignatius Fell is like just the stoic, he's Karstark when he's like, you're gonna cut my head off, make sure you do it right on the first strike, you know what I mean, in Game of Thrones. And he's like, if you're gonna do it, be a man about it, don't fuck around, get it right. And he's like, and also fuck you, because fuck you.
Icarus,
I think this one will be used to clean toilets.
Icarus, make sure you engrave the name Ignatius Fell on the correct servitor.
It shall be done, Lord Captain.
And meanwhile, the individual who's standing there going, he probably kind of looks like he's about to shit his pants. Because in his mind, he's about to allow for the death of his liege lord's family member, effectively, and not really doing anything about it, because he knows that at the moment he does, he's dead himself. And so there's like this impotent rage boiling underneath his eyebrows, but he can't do shit about it.
Omar, would you like to read the letter aloud?
Did you send it to me?
I did.
Let me pull it up as I alt-tab through 66 different things.
I finally
I'll
am caught
put-
up with all the work things. Now all I have to do is just literally sit and wait for them to fix it.
That's amazing.
I'll put my hand on the shoulder of Mr. Broiling Over with internal seething.
Yes.
And I'll say, you don't have to worry so much about Mr. Ignominus. He'll be, well, he won't be
I love how
fine,
you...
but
I totally interrupted. I'm sorry. Please continue.
he'll be, well, not fine, but he'll be around.
So this is the letter that will be sent to Haderach Fell. Dear Sir Fell, I am bereft to be contacting you in such an inauspicious manner. If you are interested in the business of profit and gelt, I can relate to that pursuit, and profits are always open to negotiation and division in the event of cooperation. But please, let this be a reminder. Thieves get their hands cut off. Sincerely, all of the appropriate titles, including the 10-star, that Brogadillo, or however you fucking say it.
Sincerely, Borgadillo van Briesgesvath III, First of Avalon, Defender of the Order of St. Drusus, Recipient of the Calixa Star, Lord Captain of the Acheron's Ferry, and honored holder of a sacred warrant of trade.
Yes. Also, Mr. Impotent Boiling Rage, his name is now Broyles.
Excellent. Royals.
Alright, yeah, so Ignatius and +1 get dragged off to be lobotomized, roboticized, and otherwise forever indentured into your service until their bodies of flesh and iron can no longer function. But as a person, they are dead. And then Broyles is sent back to Haderach Fell. And when Broyles leaves the ship, as he's getting ready to exit, whoever's with him, I'm going to imagine, unless you guys say otherwise, that maybe not necessarily Sergeant Cassius, or excuse me, Petty Officer Cassius, but maybe with some of Cassius's underlings, he will turn and look at them and he says, more than likely, Haderach Fell has already left. I don't know if I even have a place to go. And of course, the armsmen are like, meh, sucks to suck.
Well, surely Haderach Fell would have waited for word from his troop. At best, he heard there was gunfire. He wouldn't leave without them.
Needless to say, anything resembling Fell leaves your ship. And you are now in a position, let's say later that evening, at like, you know, a late dinner time, to have your strategy meeting that I believe you're going to want to have.
Before the strategy meeting, I would like to pull the cadre of soldiers aside and have a word.
And which individuals are you referring to, so I'm clear? Your armsmen?
The armsmen that were to follow us.
Okay, do you want just the ones that went out on that little jaunt, or do you want like
the ones that went out on the little jaunt?
Okay, so just that squad. Okay, so yeah, Cassius and his men, just before late dinner time, will arrive at your appointed place in full kit. My Lord Archmilitant, you. I got the wrong voice for him, but Lord Archmilitant, you wanted us.
At ease, gentlemen. I do have some things to talk to you about. First of all, I know that we are new to this relationship, and so I want you to think of me as a coach, as somebody who is trying to help you to improve, to get better, to be all that you can be for the glory of the Emperor.
Sorry, when I joined the army in 1995, it indeed was be all you can be. Please continue.
I remember that. That was part of what was. Anyway.
That was part of history.
So, I do not have any malice when I say these things, but I want you to understand that I am somewhat disappointed with you. There was a firefight, and you were to follow at a reasonable distance and, you know, be of use to the Lord Captain. And there was gunfire, and you what? Thought you would finish your coffees?
My Lord Archmilitant, I won't offer any pitiful excuses in an attempt to exonerate ourselves, but I will say the fight was over very quick, and we did capture those, well, whatever they were, armsmen of Fell or whatever.
Yes, the capture was well done, and I do appreciate that. But just attempt to be a bit more on the spot when the action happens, yeah?
Yes, my lord.
Yes, I shall appreciate that. Should there be a need to address this particular issue again, there will be some minor discipline. We'll discuss that when we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
As you wish, my lord. Is there anything else?
No, that should be all.
Very well, sir. I think you may read some, I'll say, disappointment. Like, he recognizes that, you know, mistakes were made, but he's also manning up and, like, he's not offering pitiful excuses or anything. He's just explaining exactly, like, when he mentions that the firefight was over, he doesn't want to say it was over too fast for his men to get there in time, but he does mention, you know, it was done fast, and also we captured those fuck sticks. Like, and he's saying that as a matter of fact, and not necessarily as, you know, excuses or anything like that. But
absolutely,
he also
and Reinhardt
recognizes...
has been trying to give the impression of being his more friendly self. He did not go into angry German mode.
I think we have to be careful when we describe angry German mode, by the way. Digress. That was like 70 years ago. Anyway. Somebody's going to be so offended by me saying that.
Above table, this might be a good time to mention that you're now training them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was going to say, I think Cassius does mention... I think Cassius hangs back for a moment. As his, let's say, junior armsmen leave. And he says, "My lord, a moment, if I may."
Absolutely. You set a good example for your men by not making excuses, and they should be rewarded for the capture, as that was well done. Please distribute these bonus among your men as you see fit, and I'll give him a small
A handful of rounds.
amount of a small bonus of gelt.
Okay.
The senior officers should be seen to do the disciplining, and the ones that they live with every day should be the ones to bear the good news.
As you say, my lord. I did want to point out, since you mentioned officers and the junior leaders, there are a number of other petty officers amongst the armsmen detachment. At your leisure, of course. Perhaps choosing one to be your, let's say, second master-at-arms, immediately subservient to you, as far as a chain of command might be concerned. Of course, how you choose to do this is your prerogative. Couldn't think of the right word.
Well, considering that you are straight shooter and were not afraid to speak your mind with me, I will nominate you for that post.
You honor me, my lord. There are, however, other petty officers that have senior stature and number of years of experience than myself, but again, I defer to your guidance.
Well, let them earn their own respect, and they will be rewarded accordingly.
As you say, my lord. Is there anything else?
That should be all.
Very well, sir. He'll give you the snappy... like in my head, I'm picturing the snappy palm out salute that the British do, because this is, of course, a British game. But we're all Americans, so I'm not sure if that's going to rest well.
There's always that cringy Aquila.
Oh, yes, that's exactly what he'll snap his heels and then, like, kind of let his weapon hang around his shoulders and then do the sign of the eagle, or sign of the... Oh, God, help me out.
Yes,
The
Aquila.
Sign of the Aquila, thank you. And do a slight bow while he does it before departing.
I will return it, not as crisply, but with obvious practice.
Yeah. It's much more... Yours is probably much more smooth, if not as crisp.
So an angled high five is out of the question.
Wow. Yes. Very much out. Very much out. Get out of here with that. We don't do that anymore. Anything else?
As a narrative, as a narrative declaration, as I'm roboticizing Ignatius, there's going to be I'm gonna tear off his patch and stick it upside down somewhere on his frame, and then there's gonna be two plates. One that says his name, Ignatius Fell, in iron, so it rusts, and then
oh, nice,
royals in copper, so it can rust, but it'll be front and center.
Nice. There you go.
Hmm.
Well, Broyles was the name of the one that survived.
That's what I thought. I thought Broyles
Yeah.
is the one we kicked off the ship.
Darn.
The other one is you could just put no name.
Yeah.
And no, better yet, you can give him a
Serial number.
You can give him Adeptus Mechanicus designation of some sort, like, I don't know, Iron
100011110.
Well, no, I watched. I got Warhammer Plus, the streaming service, and there is a 14 or 15 episode long mini series, or whatever you want to call it, of some Blood Angels doing some anti-Tyranid stuff. And there's a couple of sequences where I don't know what they're called in the Space Marines, but basically the Tech Marine or Tech Priest Marine, whatever. He's like telling various servitors to do various things. He's like, Dirge 33, do this. and some other random identifier name with a couple of numbers. Go do that. And so that's, I think that you can name the unnamed guardsman. You know, something along those lines.
I will name him Obtuse One.
Obtuse One. Nice.
Over the table, what sort of options of servitor can he make? Because they range from like servant to combat.
These are definitely most menial level of servant. I can't imagine.
Right. I'm just saying,
combat.
like within our framework,
I think
would you allow
the ship,
you allow him to potentially, with extra costs, produce combat servitors?
I think in time, with appropriate resources, facilities, and things of that nature, I think being able to create a couple of combat servitors wouldn't be out of the question. But certainly not with a crew specifically built around crewing the engines of your ship. Would they be able to do much more than servant and maintenance worker type stuff?
No, I was just wondering what the framework would be for something like that in the campaign, generally speaking.
Yeah, it's not out of question. It's just a matter of, let's just say, resource allocation. Because I wanted to say something corporate-y for a moment.
Gotta find one of them Forge Worlds.
Yeah. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before we have this strategy meeting that I imagine is going to take place at around a late dinner time? Like, 7 p.m.
Matter of fact, why don't we adjourn for some...
Is this a eat and meet greet sort of thing?
Well, this is eat, clear the table, and then have our meeting for the next day, I suppose.
Awesome. Who is at this dinner, at the captain's mess, we'll say? Obviously the rogue trader is there.
Well, all of the senior officers and self-insert should be there.
Okay. Because I've got a couple that I want to add. Or at least one, definitely.
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Oh, I've been dreaming about this character. So I just imagine, and feel free to interject as needed, standard captain's mess scene, but of course your rogue traders, or parts of the rogue trader crew, I should say. So everything is ostentatious. There's floating skulls zipping about. There's this big spread. The Lord Captain is sitting at the head of the table. The Archmilitant's probably immediately to his right. Various others are there. Marcellus Thale is, I imagine, as the Seneschal and more or less the second rank. I guess he would be at either the other side of the Lord Captain or at the foot of the table. I'm not sure what the protocol on that would be, but regardless. Anastasia Mercator is there as well in her 7-foot tall, incredibly thin and bald glory with the makeshift eye patch that she wears more or less as a headband. But as you guys are getting seated, maybe there is a light soup or some sort of appetizer being served. From one corner of the room walks an Ogren. And he speaks up with a bow, of course. And he has this ridiculous, I don't know what this is called, but just imagine your standard white chef's hat. But it is fucking huge because he's an Ogren, first off. But it's even more large than necessary. Son of a bitch. My ex is saying I need to call her. I need to take a quick fiver. I apologize, guys.
That's fine. You gave me an Ogren
Why don't we
chef.
take a bio break? Because I kind of need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no worries. So yes, fans at home, stand by. I'm going to put the intermission screen up, and we're going to have to take a quick break. I'll be back momentarily.
You gave me an Ogren chef.
The cookie's an Ogren.
Yes, apparently he did.
I'm really hoping.
Squad.
I'm
You
really
are the Brute Squad.
I'm really hoping that he's at least a bonehead. Because otherwise his repertoire of recipes is going to be redundant.
Would you like your eggs fried or scrambled?
I can, put it on a fire.
I take the steak and I hit it to make ground beef.
Well tenderized steaks.
I just got messaged by someone that. Okay, so 2 messages. One, we are still audible, even though it is on hold. So anything that we say can or may be used against us in a court of law.
Okay.
Well, I'll try not to overthrow Omar while he's gone.
I was really hoping you might could get a combat servitor sooner, Icarus. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
What I guess while we're here, what sort of is Carapace? You think the best armor that we could get for the elite troops you're wanting to train? Well, Warner,
Carapace is probably the
best for now.
yeah. Well, yeah. Our profit factor isn't particularly large, so Carapace armor is probably reasonable for the elite for now. Speaking of acquisitions and things, I am going to be making an acquisition for a best quality physic kit, which will allow me to have bonuses on my Medicaid rolls to treat y'all. But there is a consumable called an advanced med kit that anybody who is untrained in Medicaid can still use. And it might be wise of us to have someone in the party procure a couple of those.
Okay. I don't know how purchases work in this.
I was gonna say since we got our freebie already, I don't know how soon.
The acquisitions rules are on page 127, I think, of the book. Nope.
Well, the weapons are on page 119. At least as the PDF counts it.
Yeah.
118.
Acquisitions is 271.
Okay.
So 127, 271. I just did the Listexic thing.
Well, considering how I spell Rogue Trader half the time, I can't complain.
Rouge.
So yeah. The acquisitions tests suggest that there are modifiers for your rarity, there's modifiers for the quantity that you wish to acquire, and there are modifiers for the level of craftsmanship. So a medikit, I believe, or an advanced medkit, sorry.
By the way,
I believe is rare quality.
Yeah.
But if you're only going to get a few of them, like 3 to 5, you'll get a plus 20 modifier on it. Just, letting you guys know.
I started talking before I unmuted myself. I am back, but I do need to use the restroom really quick. So continue chit-chatting, and the viewers will stare at my Rogue Trader cover piece that I have. Anyway,
well, they
I'll
can
be
still
right
hear us.
back. Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I forgot to mute the stream. I muted my mic, so thankfully nobody heard the conversation that I and my ex were having.
Oh my.
It wasn't that kind of a conversation. But I'll be right back. I'll be back in just a second.
How would he know what I'm on my?
Maybe he was thinking of the George Takei. Yeah. Oh my.
Well, he did that. George Takei would do that thing for the drama or the innuendo.
That's true.
What if it was a dramatic innuendo?
I'm pretty sure he would have an aneurysm.
His brain just gets caught in the O, and no my ever comes out.
And he's just on a recursive loop.
Turn him off and turn him back on again.
Actually, I'm not going to say that.
It's restraint. You heard it here first. Rev exercised restraint.
I exercise it a lot. I just don't often announce it.
Okay. I am back. I don't know what I missed, so I don't want to just barge right in. So please,
I exercised restraint, Omar.
did you really? No, I mean that really. Did you really?
Yeah,
Let me stop. Let me stop.
I gave him ammunition. He didn't use it.
Well, the conversation turned to George Takei, and I was
Oh,
gonna say
let's
something,
not go there.
and I didn't say anything.
All right, good. Let's get back on track. We are having our dinner. I gotta get my notes back up. Give me a second here. There they are. Okay. So we are having our dinner before the actual strategy meeting. We have an Ogren wearing an absurdly large white chef's hat appearing in the corner. I imagine there's a door in the corner. That's why he's appearing. And he does a bit of a bow. And he says, oh, God, let me find his voice. Give me a second here. Spinning the Rolodex. Oh, Captain, if I may, I have some of my world-famous rock soup as the main course. We'll bring it out in just a moment. It contains rocks, of course, and poke toes and took toes, and a thick, creamy broth. And then he kind of waits
Excellent.
to see what your response might be. And also, I'm curious because I think this is a hilarious joke.
Well, thankfully,
Did he say
thankfully, rocks are an animal in the Warhammer universe.
I just picture. I'm sorry, I gotta throw them back. I've been stewing on this. There's a pun intended there.
Stewing?
Yes. Stewing on the soup.
Yes, I've been stewing on the rock soup joke for fucking weeks now, because I wanted to give you guys an Ogren who's talking about a rock soup, and then you realize finally that he means it's basically a rock, some large giant fucking chicken thing.
Well, I'm gonna be pedantic here and say that even for a bonehead, your Ogren has a incredibly large vernacular.
Yes, I know, and I've got to dumb down a little bit more. I'm working on it, okay? In case you don't know, I don't normally do voices like this.
It's the Rumbly Tum Tum Farm.
Also, for an Ogren, he does sound like he just inhaled helium. Is he doing whippets in the kitchen?
He might be. Also, I don't know if I can get my voice that low. I tried to slow it down, and that hurt.
Omar got low.
I fixed you a pot of rock stew with potatoes.
No,
It's
no,
hard
Captain,
to
they
not go
are
orc
poke
when
toes
you're doing
and
Ogren.
totos.
Well, they're if you listen to them in the universe, there's not much of a difference.
Yeah, but
Anyway, so yeah, you're getting rock soup as your main course, and servants begin to bring it out. And it is it is definitely chunks of an avian type creature with cut up chunks of potatoes and what looks like freshly cut or diced tomatoes that are added to the soup after the soup is finished. But the soup broth is like a thick, rich, creamy, almost like a gravy, like a thick gravy almost. But other than that, Marcellus and Anastasia are simply... Oh, no, I take that back. Anastasia does have a question. And she says, Lord Captain, if I may, have you made any progress in acquiring the navigation charts that I need?
We had obvious diversions, and a firefight precipitated the need for a return to the ship.
I see.
That was the first item on the agenda after the meal is finished.
Indeed. I would never presume to tell tell the Lord Captain what to do, but I will cautiously and politely remind you I need the charts for the navigation. I believe there is talk of a ship that we are to go find, and I imagine it's not in this system. Thus, the necessity for traversing the warp. I can't get her voice right either. One, she's a female, and two, I'm working on it, okay?
You need a soundboard voice changer that you can just flip between buttons.
No, I have enough things to manage on my screen right now.
It doesn't have to be on
Get
your
one of
screen.
those
You can.
VTuber things.
Oh God, no.
every time get one of those VTuber things and some of the streamers have the button with the soundboard stuff
Yeah.
that's independent that sits beside their keyboard.
Yeah. No,
Get one of those, but it switches between
it'll have my random
voice changer and VTuber avatar.
Yeah, it'll have my random lowborn scrum. It'll have a random lowborn not so scrum. It'll have any GM insert characters, including Jeff, the Ogren chef.
We can let Arturius borrow it for his...
Jeff the chef.
We can let Arturius.
I also love the idea of an Ogren having a really dumb, simple name like Jeff.
Borrow it for what?
We can get you a voice changer to imitate your vox if you want.
Yes, his vocaster.
Oh.
At any rate, yes, Lord Captain, just a gentle reminder, if you please, my lord, I do need those navigation charts at the earliest convenience in order to begin preparations for our eventual departure.
Someone has messaged me and they're listening, so I'm going to say that in the Twitch chat. Don't make me relay all your messages.
Oh dear.
Is who I think it is.
Was it Daishi?
Yes,
No.
I'm getting a funny face now.
Okay.
I'm getting.
I'm
a dumb
assuming
face
Daishi's
emojis.
watching, so therefore, hello Daishi. At any rate,
He wishes to name the Ogren Brock.
Brock. I don't know if that would.
Brock, the master of rock.
Well, maybe I'll come up with another Ogren character with an equally weird position for an Ogren to fill, and we'll name him Brock.
Why don't you just name him Stu?
Oh my god. Okay, let's get back on track, Rev. You're getting easily distracted, and you're pulling the rest of us with you.
I am Stu, and I do the stew.
Is Orbis Dre here at dinner, or is he elsewhere?
If the Seneschal hasn't seen to his accommodations already, then I would assume that the guy.
In the time that you guys would have been toying with your captured people, that he would have been attending to that. I think the question then just would have been, when you mentioned dinner, Thale would have asked if you wanted him there as well.
Well, considering he's shown incredible loyalty to the family, one nice dinner would not be out of the question.
Okay, yeah, Orbis Dre is definitely there, and he is as fast as an old frail man can. He is digging into the rock soup and the loaves of bread, unsliced, that are there. And every now and again he looks at the
bread is overrated.
It is. But every now and again he looks at the rogue trader almost expectant, as if either he's going to be called on or he's just waiting to see what the rogue trader has to say next.
What do Mechanicus do for food? Do they just plug themselves in?
I think you are capable of consuming unless your alterations preclude it. Specifically preclude it.
If you are so mechanized that you can't intake food normally, the Mechanicus has like a nutrient paste.
Yeah. Lay's intravenous potato chips. That you can't suck, just one.
No, hold on. I have it on good authority that the Mechanicus regularly imbibes a liquid mix of Doritos and Mountain Dew. All right.
Oh God.
I have it on good authority that the Mechanicus has predilections towards toasters.
I'm not going there. The word of Blake has entered the chat for the second night in a row.
Piece of Blake be with you.
Anybody who's familiar with text-to-speech knows where I'm going.
Mm-hmm. Turn penis into robot.
The floor is yours at the moment. I'm trying not to interject too much here, but you guys keep going off course. No nautical puns intended.
Well, we're still on the first course, so far as I know. The soup.
Well, no, the rock soup is the main course.
Right, and we haven't gone off that. You just said we went off course. What else are we eating?
Focus, Rev. Focus. It's like herding goddamn squirrels at this point.
What about second breakfast?
Oh, God. We're not even in that franchise. Totally the wrong genre.
Well, has Brock brought us dessert yet?
It's still the soup phase. Oh, my God. You're just trying to get my blood pressure
Jeff.
up, aren't you?
The dessert would really be the icing on the cake here.
Xanax and a gallon of beer would be the icing on my cake right now.
Ooh, that reminds me. I have scotch.
Please,
Oh,
share.
are you going to be sane after this? After
You're
this
assuming
series?
I was saying to begin with.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have roleplayed with Rev once before. I should have known better.
Oh my! I did enjoy role playing with you.
Throwing axes, I believe, was the general course of. Anyway, Thale will also mention that the ship is standing ready to depart probably by about midday tomorrow. And he is
Right.
happy to report that all supplies are loaded, barring any further additions that the rogue trader finds of his own accords or whatever.
Then I will treat it as a business meeting, and once dinner is finished, I'm assuming we have something for dessert, which I was trying to let you.
Yeah, no,
move
you
dinner on.
get. I think there will be some light, fluffy pastry type things.
Mm.
It's lots of starches and carbohydrates involved tonight.
Oh, it's
Does-
delightfully fluffy.
Does Brock have a McDonald's ice cream machine in the kitchen?
It's broken.
I figured.
I thought his name was. Are we going with fuck it? His name is Brock
It's
now.
Jeff.
It's fucking
Oh.
Brock now.
It's Brock. Excellent.
I'm gonna call it Jeff from now on, just to.
The
It's
ice cream
Brock,
machine is named
short for
Jeff.
broccoli.
Brock broccoli.
Because he hates broccoli so much, he goes by Brock.
He's got that stupid haircut.
The
Look,
broccoli
I
haircut.
thought we
Yes.
weren't in the Dragon Ball Z universe.
We are
It's
not.
an ogre with the dumb curly hair.
No, an ogre with the big dumb chef's hat. Like it's stupid how big
Oh,
it is.
it looks he looks literally like he's got broccoli on his head. Anyway,
Yeah, please, somebody, Calgon, fucking take me away.
so we finish our dinner, and I'm going to say, before we get on to old business, is there any new business? Anything anyone wishes to apprise us of?
Obrist Dre does the. I want to make a joke of him raising his hand, but he definitely, maybe he taps the table or says, "I have a small thing, if you would, my lord."
Certainly.
I have found additional information regarding the righteous path. And I think when he says found, it can be implied that he is remembering more of the story that he didn't quite have before. I don't know if there are any clues as to its whereabouts, but perhaps more of the story to give more, as they say, context. I can't find his voice now either, god damn it.
Don't worry about it.
I'm trying, guys. I really am.
Keep going.
I think well, at the moment, he's waiting to see if, far be it that this old man would ever step on the rogue trader's shoes or toes or whatever about,
All right.
telling a story.
So, does anyone have anything they wish to bring up to discuss tonight other than the acquisition of charts and the telling of additional information regarding our quarry?
I think Thale is looking around the table about as much as anybody else would be at this point. Anastasia is just kind of... I think she's spooning the remnants of her soup around, like, aimlessly.
She didn't even touch the pastries.
No, in fact, you know what? New lore unlocked. She doesn't eat sweets.
What a monster.
I
part of the-
suspect she has the diabetes.
Servitorize her now. Can't be trusted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anastasia does mention, or she does say, after a moment, it's kind of like, it's like an afterthought that she suddenly remembers. Lord Captain, I was told that there was a stone?
Yes, it is a black stone.
Surely not a black stone as in Cadia. And other places that blackstone may exist in the universe that
Well,
I don't
actually,
know about.
Omar, when I said ask you above table, is this blackstone? I went and double checked, and blackstone can retain latent psychic images and things like that.
I wonder,
So this very well could actually be a piece of blackstone.
yeah, I wonder if it doesn't explicitly say that in the published material I'm using, but
Well, blackstone is not just above table for our listeners and for anybody in channel. Blackstone is mined widely across the Imperium, but it's still fairly rare. But it would not be it's not just from Cadia.
Yeah.
So it's a latent psychic material that is mined in various places across the galaxy, but rare.
In that case,
But-
anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say that it's often found in large deposits when it is found.
Hmm.
At least that's my understanding. If someone is better familiar with the Warhammer lore, comment in the YouTube section.
Yes, please, comments. I would love some in my YouTube channel. And that was not meant to sound as sarcastic as it may have. Anastasia does look, and you see she is trying to restrain from reaching across the table to, palm up, ask if you would give it to her.
So this is the Psyker, correct? Now,
Not the Psyker, the Navigator.
Okay. Do we have any other psychic inclined individuals besides Winter and the Navigator, who I'll bring the name up later?
I would imagine you have a few astropaths, not necessarily transcendents. These would be subservient and lower powered, and probably a second or third Navigator that are also subservient to Anastasia. These would not necessarily be outright navigators. Maybe they were more
apprentices or something.
Yeah,
Right,
support
so
staff
give me
or something like that.
The name of the head Navigator, and I'll try to remember it for later.
Anastasia Mercator. Mercator as in the planet maker dude. Or not planet maker, I'm sorry. The map maker. Jesus Christ.
Right.
The Mercator projection.
Yes,
Mercator,
that.
whatever.
Exactly that.
But I thought it was Mercador.
Sure.
If
I may, Lord Captain, if I understand the rumors I've heard, the stone contains an imprint of the destination system. I wonder if my own capabilities might unlock more information. I've never seen one of these before.
It might. First, Miss Mercator, Miss Winter, would you, as someone psychically inclined, like a look at the stone? Or should I entrust it to the Navigator?
Well, she's the one that...
Winter is here. I'm asking the player if they would want dibs, or if they would like me to give it to the Navigator.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I tell you, I saw a bit of it before, but it was a star map of some kind, and she wouldn't have any knowledge of astronomy in that way.
Okay. Then I will unseal...
Because she did see it before last session. She just doesn't
Right.
have
That's
the
what I was getting ready
background
to say. I
knowledge
was
to
like, I thought you
understand.
had, but then I realized that maybe you hadn't actually touched it.
Right,
middle
that's
of
why
combat, too.
that's why I was offering.
Yeah.
Is
And
if
I'm
the
like, if
character
the
wanted any
Navigator has
visuals.
trouble seeing it, I can help her focus on it, but I don't have the necessary... I mean, if it's in the Koronus Expanse, I have the basic understanding of it, but I don't have any of the astrogation skills and navigation skills necessary to actually get us there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, then I'm going to unseal the cylinder with the rock still contained in it and hold out the open cylinder to the Navigator.
Okay. She reaches across the table. Let's see what I roll here. Did I just roll zeros? Yeah, and you almost see, like, so what you guys see, she reaches across the table, and it's almost instantaneous. The moment she touches the stone, she freezes in place for about 5 seconds. And she almost has to jerk her hand free of the stone before she sits back down. I want to find the specific words that were used in the material.
At her sudden tensing, I will stand up and pull the Hellgun out immediately.
Just a second. I want to see if I actually put...
Reinhardt may or may not have some trauma around weird
warpy bullshit
stuff.
For the viewers, by the way, I rolled a 4 against a skill of 39. So, she takes a moment as she kind of jerks her hand away after about 4 or 5 seconds, like I said, and sits back down in her seat, takes a few breaths. She looks over at Reinhardt, and my lord, you don't need that, I assure you. It is as I thought it was. I've just never experienced the effect myself. That, Lord Captain, and my friends here, is a Nemelith. It is a tool sometimes used within the Navigator and the Astra Telepathica. I think I said that right. To convey psychic and navigational information. Unfortunately, all I have is the destination system, a description of that system, and not its exact location. It is a flickering pale white star surrounded by a nebula, vast stretches of void circled by a dusty world and frozen halo. I know not this location.
How is that spelled? Just out of curiosity.
Nemelith. It is spelled with an awful lot of letters.
I
I'm
assume
gonna spell it
it's
in.
sort of mnemonic.
Oops. Give me 1 second. I'm going to spell it in TTS chat for you guys. It is spelled. Oops, not like that. Like that. With an extra M in there for some silly Greek reason.
Like mnemonic.
Yeah. Yeah. Except I think mnemonic isn't it a silent P? Or am I crazy?
No, there's no
It's
P in
MN.
mnemonic.
Yes. So Anastasia, in short, makes a gesture towards Reinhardt that, you could relax. I'm not about to explode or whatever it is you think is going to happen. She doesn't use those exact words, obviously, but
I'll put the gun back away and sit down.
okay.
I can be cool. I can be cool. Just it never hurts to be ready.
Did you know that you can get cheap viewers on *******? You do now. Purge somebody from my chat. Somebody's trying to get me to go click on a link, but they can't post links in my stream chat. So
Don't worry, Omar. If you want bot views to get your view count up, I've got a contact.
I probably could just go on Instagram and direct all of the scammers that trying to get my attention to come to my website or my stream. Anyway, yeah. So you've been basically given no new information than what you had from the end of last week, but you have more confirmation from your actual navigator.
Right, and hopefully a better correlation to the star charts.
Yes.
When we acquire them.
Since we're on the issue of the location, you had some more information, I believe.
Who was that directed to? The navigator?
No.
Oh,
the old man that I
the old
thought was
man.
out of the
Yes.
story.
Right.
Sorry.
Remember the name. Didn't
Yes.
bother to memorize the name of.
Orbis Dre. He
Wow.
says, yes, Lord Captain, it was during the Angevin Crusade, when the Koronus Expanse was eventually formed into a sector. The Angevin Crusade was sweeping across the region. Among their number was a Lorcanus Rin, a great warlord, free captain, the captain of the righteous path, who, as some would say, was the scourge of over 100 worlds, carving out a bloody path before him as the crusade conquered world after world. One of those worlds, recorded as the 73rd, brought to the light of our glorious God Emperor, was Crystalion, an ancient colony of man, which had long ago fallen to the heretical worship of false gods and the teachings of something called the Talisar. Covered, he probably wouldn't go into all this great, wonderful, alliterative detail, so let's see. Lorcanus Rin ravaged the world, made an example of their warriors, and in the end, coveted all of the treasure that he had seen, marveling at the riches he had won, Never before, they say, had he seen such naked wealth, temples packed high with artifacts of rare and wondrous make, statues gilt with gems and glittering with gold, shadowed vaults of forgotten and forbidden archaeotech. Some say the wealth of Crystallion was more than just rare metals, precious stones, but that its people were a prize bred from a stock of pure genetic material, spared from centuries of the warp taint. And he makes the sign of the Aquila to protect himself. You know, similar to like how some people would make the sign of the cross at the mention of something dark. Some say that he bundled these people into stasis coffins and taken them away to be trained as elite warriors or highborn servants. Others whisper that Crystallion was settled during the dark age of technology and still harbored devices from that time within its cities and temples, secrets worth more than the raw mineral wealth, or combined populations of 100 worlds. Locanus was not content, whatever it was, they say, though, for he took apart his ship, clearing out gun decks and launch bays, marooning thousands of his crew and stripping the vessel's innards until she was bursting with plunder. And then the warlord vanished into the warp from the pages of history. And he almost goes into something like a short nap. Because he's suddenly, his sudden animation, it just ends as if whatever he had eaten had been consumed. Like the calories, I mean. Yeah. No, it's more like he got a burst of energy from the good food, and now he used it all up.
What's the chemical that you get after eating too much turkey?
It's not serotonin.
Tryptophan, I believe.
Yep,
Yeah.
tryptophan. Yep.
Yeah, that kicks in.
Yep, exactly. I almost said psilocybin. I'm like, I'm not sure that's the one. So yeah, he just kind of slumps forward more than his normal sloopiness. He just kind of sits there and he's like, I don't know if anybody even really paid attention to all of that, but my story's complete. Somebody else can speak.
Very well. So the only thing is we need to acquire the charts for our journey. Is there any additional purchases or acquisitions that anyone would like to make before we cast off?
Warner, this would be your time.
I after letting the woman bleed out, I figure it's high time I procure a physic kit for myself, and I might recommend someone might want to pick up some advanced medikits as well. Those are usable by even the untrained for first aid.
Okay, well, my character would like us to have at least a couple of med kits, and if no one else volunteers to purchase one, he will be interested in the acquisition of one.
Yeah, the medikits are consumable. The physic kit that my character is picking up is not, but
right.
To use the physic kit, you need the Medicae skill, and yeah.
So it sounds like we need a brief acquisitions tutorial.
Yeah.
So, now that we've entered this portion of the early stages of the campaign, my rule is going to be this. When you guys are in port, I think this is what I'm going to do too, because I'd mentioned something to Warner earlier, and I think I'm going to alter it slightly. Pray I don't alter it further. Is whenever you guys are in port, you get one acquisition roll per player character per session, assuming you are in port. Basically what this acquisition roll is, you're rolling against your profit factor, modified by various conditions such as what you're buying, the rarity, how much of it you're buying, etc., etc.
I'm also assuming that at some place that's going to be a backwater, we'd have less of an advantage than we would at, say, this provision station.
So what I'm considering as a port of call for the purposes of acquisition will be obviously here at Port Wander, when you guys get the footfall, when you guys get to your family's capital world, Regius, and one or two additional systems, or based on wherever the campaign goes, various other ports of call. But yes, generally speaking, like backwater worlds that are, unpopulated or really low population are not going to be.
I thought
suitable.
Footfall was in the other direction.
Footfall is the other side of the maw in the Koronus Expanse. So for instance, if you look at the map on the table, you guys are right here.
Right.
Footfall is over here. And then everything off this way is the Koronus Expanse, and then everything off this way is the Calixtus sector.
Now, in the lore that I'm aware of,
Mm-hmm.
in Footfall, rogue traders get special treatment. Would you be ruling that's only for specific rogue traders, or would that fall under my purview as well?
When you say special treatment, are you referring to where they basically treat you as nobility?
No.
What are you referring to then? So I'm tracking.
If there is only one rogue trader on Footfall at a time, they are considered in charge of Footfall.
Oh, yes. I do vaguely recall something about that. I will have to do a little bit more research so that I'm clear on it, and then I will make a decision.
Okay. We're not there anyway, so I was just curious.
Yeah. We won't be at Footfall for at least 1, possibly 2 additional sessions. Depending on how it plays out. Possibly 3 at this rate. Not knocking anything. I definitely enjoy it.
Is there any purchases anyone wants to make aside from a Medicaid kit?
I will pick up one of those advanced med kits, and then I'm also gonna pick up another magazine for my Helga.
Okay.
A what now?
A magazine for his Helgun. Or additional something for his Helgun.
Is that a modification or just simply flavored?
You have to reload. You don't just get ammo.
Right, but I think with ammo,
are we not tracking ammo that strictly?
I think for the purposes of in the firefight, you will have your initial load, maybe so your magazine. Let's just say for sake of example, you have a 20-round magazine, and then you have 2 additional reloads, so a total of 60 rounds. Once you run out of ammo, you need to go to melee or stop shooting, or something. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it was. Correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've read before, and I could have misremembered this, there's major purchases and minor ones, and ammo would fall more under a minor purchase. And if say,
I'm
say
actually
we get
looking
a hold
at.
of,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You can correct me where I'm wrong, but as I remember, in the example that we say get some sort of esoteric weapon that we wouldn't regularly have ammo on board, that wouldn't be standard Imperium, that we might have to acquire a shipment of said ammo, and that would be an acquisition roll.
Yeah.
But beyond that, there's really not acquisition rolls for ammunition.
All right. So if you look on PDF page 274.
Is that a correct summation?
Yeah, that's it. It actually explains that in the book. The book page is 273 or PDF page 274. There's an inset, ammo, drugs, and grenades. And effectively what it says is, in short, the stuff like that you would normally be using, like ammo, for example, is you would have your initial ammo load, 3 reloads for your weapons, 3 grenades of whatever type you would normally carry, 3 doses of chosen drugs. And then once you use it up and then return to the ship, you restock.
Okay.
So now that's for standard ammunition. I think it also says, then when he returns to the vessel, he can replenish his supplies. So for example, if an explorer has purchased manstopper bullets, he has a constant supply that he can top off whenever he returns to base. So in other words, you guys right now have standard ammunition, but if you want to get specialized ammunition, you have to make the acquisition first, and then you can suggest from then on that that's what you're using.
Okay.
Does that make sense for everybody?
Mm-hmm. So does anybody? Because I would like specialized ammunition, but I don't want to. If somebody else has something other than a med kit they'd like to order, I'm not necessarily gonna not get a med kit.
Well, only one of us needs to order a med kit because you can order with scale.
Yeah, you can definitely get several.
Bad.
Well, the thing is, so if you're ordering just one, it's a negligible scale, so it's a +30 modifier, and a standard medkit's already plentiful, so you're rolling at a +50 against our profit factor of 45. So you basically, or a profit factor of 44, so you have a 94% chance of success.
Actually,
if you're just buying one.
I think the profit factor is 45 with Darius's characters +1.
Okay, let me adjust it on my sheet then, because I keep it on my sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Omar, what page did you say the ammunition was on? If you were looking at the rules for that,
that particular section I was referencing was on PDF 274.
Okay. I think that's where the ammunition table is as well. I could be misremembering.
Not the ammunition table. The page prior has the master modifiers list for acquisition. So like,
Yeah. So
and it only now, mind you, it only talks about quality of the craftsmanship, the scale, and the availability. So those things you'd have to look up. It does give examples, but it doesn't give like the actual. You'd have to go and look at the individual items you want, which that's going to be in chapter. Fuck, I'm getting the wrong book in my head. It's a little bit later in the book, I think. Or maybe it's earlier. I don't know. Warhammer Fantasy has it like in one of the final couple chapters, whereas all the other books are like earlier. So just to keep on track here, Warner, you wanted to order
A singular best quality physic kit.
Do you want only one, or is that going to give you the
I
best
want
chance?
only one.
Okay. All right. Talk to me about quality. You said best.
I did.
So that's going to take your
quality.
45 to a 15. You wanted a single. So that is
Mhm.
going to be, what is that as your scale?
plus 30.
Plus 30. So that actually cancels it back to 45. And then availability on it is what?
The availability is common.
Common. Well,
Plus 20.
Yep. So that will be a 65 or under, please.
A 65 or under. Oh, here goes.
I will
I
allow a
should've-
fate roll or a fate point for this
Oh,
if you choose.
yeah.
Oh, well, it's not needed. You got
Oh,
it. So
nice.
your special medical kit, whatever the hell you said. Oh no, your best
quality physic kit.
Yeah, and this is the one that is not replenished. It's just a tool. I think you had said.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Anybody else want to make an acquisition roll?
Yes.
All right. Winter, what are you looking for?
I am planning on buying an advanced Medicaid kit. You have to buy the advanced one if you don't have the skill.
Okay.
So I think only one person in our team has the skill. So I'm effectively needing to buy, how many is that? 4 of them? Yeah, because I think
I believe
At least.
3 to 5 is a
Mhm.
size, so
it's considered trivial.
Okay. Well, there's one modifier. So the second
So
one we
that's
need.
plus 20.
So it's plus 20 for scale. What is the availability on your advanced med kit?
Give me just a minute. I'm having to scroll back up to that section. Scroll. Rare.
Rare. Okay, that is minus 10, so we're at plus 10 net. And then the craftsmanship, you said it's advanced, but I don't know what that falls in as far
Common.
as a common. Okay, so that is 0. So we need a 55 or lower from you.
Well, I figured that makes the most sense to try to get it that way.
And you're looking for,
Isn't
I
common
believe,
plus 20.
common. I think.
No, I'm buying the nice one because you have to have the nice one if you don't have the skill.
yeah, the advanced
plus
one
20 is
a
common.
different.
There's a plus 20 and then a minus 20. Nope, sorry, plus 20 minus 10 or something like that. We're looking at a plus 10 net is what I was coming up with for modifiers.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the availability?
I think it doesn't matter.
I got
She
it.
rolled a 5. She rolled a single digit.
Yay!
That's 3 single digits tonight, and all by 3 different people. So I think at some point, the 3 final rollers, when they do roll, they're not going to get them. Anyway, you
Well,
got...
no, they don't have to roll at all because I can just hand it to them.
Yeah. Well, they got the... Everybody had... So you ordered, what, 4 of the advanced medikits?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody...
Medkit advanced, so we each get 1. They are 1-use consumable items.
Yes. Anybody else making an acquisition roll?
Now the rest of you will have 1 of them, and if you want to go buy weapons or something, now you can. You're welcome.
Right.
Thank you.
I guess, Darius, did you have any acquisitions that you were considering?
I would like a better weapon.
What weapons do you have again? Are they all just common or whatever?
I know he has a hand
I
cannon.
have a mana sword, and I have a hand cannon, both at best.
What are
Well,
your... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say, if they're both best, that's as good as it gets, unless you're looking for a different, better gun. Weapon.
Yeah, different, better gun.
Okay, my bad. I misunderstood. What are you looking for that you can use?
Where's the list?
in
we
the
got it.
armory.
Yeah, what chapter is that?
119, I believe, is the page.
Page what?
119.
If you're looking at the PDF 119, it's actually page 118 in the actual book.
Yeah, the ranged weapons table is.
I'm assuming you're looking for a ranged weapon, not a melee. I could be
Yes.
incorrect.
Might I recommend the Hellgun because I believe statistically it is one of the better weapons.
Or something
The
that can go
Hellgun?
full auto for suppressive fire.
I was just thinking that a shipboard commander might see the advantage of something like a shotgun. A little
Yeah.
deck clearing action.
Yeah.
But it's not my call. And I don't know how well the shotguns in this game actually perform on the table.
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head either. I'd have to look up the stats, but I know like the Hellgun
Oh.
has really good pen and a 2-round
the,
burst.
The
Hold the
Hellgun
phone.
is an excellent weapon.
Do you want something longer range or short range, Darius?
Long.
Okay, well then my suggestion's right up.
Why? What was yours? The Magma pistol or something?
No, I was gonna say he might want some type of Melta.
Yeah. Well, they do a lot of damage.
Lass
But
is a good long-range weapon. It has accurate and reliable even on the common basic version. But it's only a single shot.
but that's because that's the laser sniper, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
long
well
lass.
while Darius is looking over the chart,
Yes.
did I miss your I know Warner's gone and Rodin's gone. Alturios, did I miss you taking a pick, or were you just talking about wanting something?
I can't really think of anything that off the top of my head that I
Okay.
need my
What
Hellgun
weapon are you
uses.
using? Are you happy with it?
I'm using a
You have a Hellgun.
good quality Hellgun. So
Okay. Would you like a scope for said Hellgun?
I forget what those do. Like
Okay.
mechanically.
There are several different scopes that under different conditions provide a plus 10, or one called an omniscope that provides plus 10 under all those benefits.
Yeah, Omniscope generically is a good option because it has a
The
wide range.
omniscope is also incredibly hard to get.
Yeah.
What's the rarity on the omniscope was my curiosity.
I think it's near
Under-
unique.
Under our current conditions. Let me double check.
Well, there are no modifiers for being at Port Wander. I will tell you that.
Okay, so an omniscope is near unique.
Yeah, it's a -50 right off the bat, so you're sitting at a -5. Then throw in your scale of singular, which I believe that is what? Is that negligible?
Yeah. Singular target is a plus 30 basically.
Yeah, so that puts it at 25. And then
Well,
craftsmanship.
can you get 2 of them?
Yeah, well, we could put that under trivial and order 3. That would put it at a +20, but that's still a target
But if
number
we
of
order
15.
if 2 of us want the same scope,
Yes.
would it change from we'd both roll singular separate rolls, I suspect.
That would be better statistically because you're sitting at a 25 as an individual roll for one versus a 15 for
So
multiple.
to clarify, if we're sitting at 25 for a singular roll, that means we need to roll under a 25 or under
Correct.
a 75?
Under 25.
Yeah.
It's the near unique,
Oh.
the near unique that's killing you.
Right.
Yeah.
What does the roll look like on an item that's rare?
A rare is only a -10, so that takes you down to 35, and then you have your scale and craftsmanship to worry about.
Well, singular.
Singular, so that's -10, and then plus 20 net, and now you have craftsmanship.
I don't know that it comes in. It's. I was looking at a rare ammunition.
This is basic class Laz. Does that just disclude the Hellgun?
Sorry, one more time?
The basic means that it's not a pistol and not a heavy weapon.
Okay.
So the Hellgun is a basic.
Okay.
You're basic.
I have a motion predictor for mine, and I think it's a good one.
Is that what you got with your free acquisition roll that ended up with a...
Yes.
As long as you got a net 0?
Yep. Motion predictor. which is quite nice.
It gives you like a +10 or something like that to hit, doesn't it?
Plus 10 if you fire it on semi or full auto.
Nice. Any other? I know we're still trying to figure it out. We can come back to it later if you like.
Okay.
As long as you're at Port Wander, you get the
I'll take a
chance
look
this session.
and give you a
So I'm basically, is there a, that still seems like an awfully not great roll. Do we add the profit factor onto that, or is there any other?
So your profit factor is your base target that you modify based on its availability, its craftsmanship, and its scale. So you're starting with a 45. If it's rare, that drops it down -10 to a 35. Negligible is +30. Now you're at a.
Okay, I was wondering about
65.
solo.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but if we're looking at the rare ammunition,
Mm-hmm.
were you giving the math for that, or were we going back to the other item? I'm
It
sorry.
was on the rare, whatever it was, rare, and then how much are you looking to buy? The scale.
Well, again, it was my understanding that when a person was buying ammo, it was essentially enough with the understanding that they would have combat reloads for the foreseeable future, unless the GM ruled otherwise.
Well, yeah. So what I'm going to rule is, so if you're buying ammo for yourself, that is a negligible on the scale, so that'll be +30. If you're buying ammo for a platoon, that's minor +10, and so on and so forth.
Right. Well, this would just be this would be an ammo stock for myself.
Okay, so that's and it's rare. So -10 +30, you're sitting at a +20, and then I guess craftsmanship is negligible because it's common ammo or something, or
It should be, unless otherwise specified. I don't think you do craftsmanship
yeah, I don't think you
on
do
ammo.
either. Yeah, so you're sitting at a 45, 35, 65 for that ammo roll. And what are you looking? What kind of ammo are you looking for?
Now, would there be a difference between a rare ammo roll? I'm trying to understand the rules.
Okay.
Would there be a difference between a rare ammo roll and a rare weapon sight? Because
No.
Availability is availability, period.
Yes. What he said.
Well,
availability refers to how easy is it to acquire this thing, that thing, those things over there. Your scale is how many of those things, whether it's one or many or whatever.
Right. Well, I'm just becoming aware that a motion predictor is very rare, not just rare. So what's the difference in roll between a rare and a very rare then?
Rare is -10, very rare is -20.
Okay, so my total roll would be either a 55 or a 65 between the
Correct.
two. Okay. Well, then I think under the circumstances, I will go for the rare.
5 it is.
And try to get my hands some infernal rounds for my bolt pistol.
I think you did get them. Yep, an 11.
Should have gone for the scope.
Yep. So what do infernal rounds do? Because off the top of my head, I don't know.
It does not say specifically on this table that I'm looking at now, but on a hit they inflict essentially
fire damage.
They basically set it up so the target is on fire and they continue to inflict burning damage. But I'll drop the PDF. So let me see. The exact description under Inferno is Inferno shells. These shells contain a volatile clean gel that ignites on contact with the target. Effect: a target hit with Inferno shells must take an agility test or catch on fire. In addition to suffering damage as normal.
Nice. And then once you're on fire, that is a different condition / set of rules, which is usually a certain amount of damage per round, unless you could manage to put yourself out. Darius and Alturios, have you guys figured out what you want to do, or do you want to address it later?
I'll address it later.
Okay,
I think I definitely want a best quality Hellgun.
Best quality what?
Hellgun.
Hellgun. Okay. So
I thought you said Bugman, and I'm like wrong.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what he had said either. So let's see. 45 best quality is -30, so that's 15. Individual, that's getting canceled
Plus
off best,
30,
so it's back to 45. And what is the availability on a Hellgun?
Rare.
Rare. -10, so 35 and under, and you can get yourself a best quality Hellgun.
I will use a spend to increase by 10.
Then you're back to 45. Congratulations, you've managed to net zero it.
What did he use?
He used a fate point.
Okay.
I think you got it. Some really low numbers tonight. Yeah,
Ooh,
my
boy.
dice roller is an asshole after all, isn't it, guys? Because I just got you all a
Dice
bunch of
roller-
good shit.
Yeah, the dice roller
Now-
hates us in combat and loves us during acquisitions.
There's
Look
no
at all
spec-
these nice
it's a
things
last
you can
level,
have.
so
Too
there's
bad
no
you'll still
special
miss
ammo
with them
for it.
anyway.
Oh,
Hold on,
Omar.
hold on. Darius is trying to say something.
Sorry.
It's a las weapon, so there's no special ammo for it, right?
Yeah, it should be just charge packs, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Something along those lines. Am I right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, there is a charge pack. You could carry a backpack. My character does, but standard it comes with a normal charge pack,
And
I believe.
the Hellgun is one of those weapons that takes 2 rounds to reload for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Probably because,
two rounds
like
to
the
reload.
USB cable, you can never get it lined up quite right on the first
Well,
try.
it's a las gun, but it's juiced up, so it's got
Yeah. It's
Okay,
got-
special
and then
conditions.
Sorry, go ahead,
for
Darius.
my other weapon, my handgun, hand cannon.
Uh-huh.
Is there special ammo for that?
There
Probably.
are, but you just spent your acquisition.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
if you guys are still in Port Wander at the next session, then you can make another acquisition roll. Otherwise, it'll be at your next port call, whenever that might be.
I can send you
Okay.
some info on the ammos for your Hellgun if that would, or for your hand cannon if that would save you time. I can send you any information about the ammos pertinent to a hand cannon if you'd like.
That would be
Out of
appreciated.
game. Okay.
For the rest of, I believe that's everything. Because Alterios, you said you were gonna take a look later for acquisition rolls.
Yeah, I'll shoot it to you sometime either tonight or tomorrow, and you can have
Now-
me roll on it how you want.
This would be something I think relatively negligible because it's nothing high tech. But when we're out looking for the navigational charts
Mhm.
or a shop that has them, I'm also looking for a jeweler's, and I want to get the essentially some sort of chain attachment that I could essentially either inside. How large is that sealed case for the Blackstone?
It's this. I want you to think of a lightsaber hilt.
Okay, that's too big then. So I'm looking for some sort of like wire mesh that the stone could be placed into and still accessible that I could wear around my neck and not have it in regular skin contact.
Well, the stone itself is a little on the large side for something you would wear around. I mean, well, I guess it's a matter of fashion or whatever. So the case it sits in is probably about the size of, let's say, the size of Yoda's lightsaber hilt. So roughly the size of your palm from the base of one finger to the base of your palm or something like that. So 2 to 3 inches, right? The stone is probably about a ½ inch to an inch shorter than that, if that helps you any with what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm basically wanting the ability to wear the stone around my neck and
Not
have
the stone
whatever
touch your stick.
directly right.
God, I gotta get rid of another one. That is the second fucker in the night.
All the bots.
Hey,
Jesus.
you're becoming popular.
Why can't I just get people to follow and subscribe to my Twitch instead of coming in here screaming about get more viewers, blah blah blah. Click this link that you can't see because I don't allow links. Anyway, yeah. So is that what we want to do next? Do we want to head back out? Do we want to wait until, let's say, whatever the local morning time would be, or what do we want to do from here? Dessert has been served and consumed. Discussions have been made. Is there any in-character conversations that need to be had, planning-wise, et cetera, or like how do you want to? I guess ultimately what I'm asking is how do you want to proceed from here?
Well, I would be ready to head out, but I want to confer if anyone has any contributions, any requests. I kind of tried to ask that over dinner, but
Yeah.
in this particular case, I'll just be straight up above the table. Alturios,
Uh,
Darius, and Rodance, did any of y'all have anything that you either want to contribute on the ship or something else you want to do off ship?
I'm not gonna think of.
I do have a question.
Okay.
For character creation, it was mentioned to me that I get one acquisition with some sort of bonus.
Okay, so you haven't done that one yet?
He might
No, I
not
have
have
not.
actually.
Okay, so tell you what, Darius, I don't know what your hours are, but I think I've sent you a PM at some point. Hit me up and I'll try to help you with that out of game.
All right.
And then we can just tell Omar what you got because there's not rolling typically involved with that.
Yeah, because the short version is if you add up the modifiers and you end up with a net 0, I'm going to say a net 0 or better, then you basically get
it actually says that.
Yeah, you get that item for free without needing to roll or whatever. That is your free roll.
All right.
Which shouldn't be too hard as long as you're careful about what you're looking for.
We have 45, so net 0. Like I said, with a net 0, I was now able to get a bolt gun. So
yeah,
or 44.
Yeah.
Oh, for future reference, page 111 of the book has modifiers for the population of a world. So on a world that is 100,000 plus, common is easy.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
But on a smaller world, it gets harder and harder.
I see what you're
So the
going
rolls
with,
we
yeah.
made here
Could be
perfectly
adjusted.
accurate. There's more than 100,000, but we come to some tiny world that's got less than 1,000 people. We can still make acquisitions. It just gets harder.
Yeah. Okay, I see where you're going with it. I'll have to remember that next time around because that may change how often acquisition rolls can be made. You could be at a place that's not exactly defined as a port of call the way I defined it earlier.
Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, good call. So we have the matter of the charts, and we have the matter of the, let's just call it jeweler for lack of a better thing. Is there anything else that we want to get after before we attempt to send the ship into the void?
Would you say that it is a common lore war roll or a scholastic roll tactica imperialis to do some training with the troops we have?
I think it would be
to be clear, just because of not all of the troops. I think from what Warner and I had discussed, specifically training a smaller elite squad.
Yeah.
Because you want them to serve as like your honor guard, or you want them to be your designated hit team, or something along those lines. Is that what you're trying to do?
At the moment, all of the above.
Okay. I think, especially in that particular case, that will definitely more likely fall under the Scholastic Tactical Imperialis.
Alrighty.
Or whatever the fucking phrase is. I know you know what I mean.
Tactica Imperialis.
Thank you.
Cool. Obviously, that's not happening in a day or an afternoon.
No, that would be a roll. You know what we would probably do is make that a roll to cover a stretch of time while you're in the warp to give you something to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because easily you could spend weeks in the warp, and the only outside of warp encounters, there's not much else to do. Anything else from anybody? I know some people haven't had much screen time, as it were, so if you have something, this is a great time to do it.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I actually realizing technically I qualify for best craft arm because I'm buying just one.
Nice.
So I adjusted my initial acquisition thing too because I realized that scale always applies.
Yeah.
Because when you're buying something just for yourself, you always get that plus 30 bonus, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, it's easier to shop for one thing in most cases than it is to shop for 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
As far as what Winter would do on the ship, she would probably set up her choir to make sure they're taking orders from Rev's character appropriately. Working with the new navigator person, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think
because I kind of see them as people who hide like in a locked room somewhere and they don't like coming out.
Much. Yeah, that's pretty much. Well, they
are
physically
emotionally
cannot
reliant on the
actually.
choir.
Yeah, your subordinate astropaths, other than like let's just say you have some sort of support staff, right? But your actual subordinate astropathy people, they physically cannot leave that room. They are literally wired into the ship mostly for their own sustenance and nutritional needs.
Yeah,
but also because
when you become an astropath, like it can fry more than just your eyeballs.
Yeah. Well, and so because communication may be necessary at any time, it's easier to keep them all there. Plus, I'm sure the construction of the chamber itself somehow allows to focus psyker energy into input and output, and so it's just easier to keep everybody there. And it's the grim dark way of, why not live where you work so you don't have to commute? I think that's actually a literal
I envision them like the Dune navigators locked in their tank of spice.
Yeah, something along those lines. And also similar for the navigator, there is a section of the ship specifically set aside for the navigator and her staff, which includes, of course, some junior subordinate navigators, because she can't literally be at the helm or what have you all 24 hours a day for days upon days upon days upon days. So there's secondaries that take over, not to mention their support staff. Now ramp that up a bit because they're actually a noble house.
They have entourage.
Yeah, gas.
I'm not saying the word right.
Entourage.
Yes.
My brain wants to mix syllables today.
No worries.
It's okay. We all have days like that.
Most days for me, in fact. But yeah, so the navigator has their own section of the ship that, especially the Navis Sanctum, nobody goes in unless you're a navigator. The astropaths have their own similar thing. I forget the exact word that would be used from, but basically all the admech people that do the engineering thing, the engineerium, is generally off limits to anybody other than the rogue trader. I think even the navigator section of the ship, the one specifically for the navigator, is off limits to the rogue trader unless invited. She is, of course, nobility. See, there I go, wanting to swap up syllables. Jace, this is your home. This is your lifestyle. This is what you do. You literally live in space. What is Jace getting after when he has a little bit of free time, or is there any pursuits he wants to indulge in?
Hang on a second.
Mm-hmm.
He would be looking for ways to improve his usefulness to the crew.
Okay.
So, better piloting, better drive, better ballistic skill, weapon skill.
What about also maybe attempting to improve, what's the word I want to use here? I'm going to say inter-service coordination. In effect, integrating the various different aspects of the ship and crew, so that when one group needs something, the other group is easier. It's easier. God, I can't get my words right here. Somebody help me out. Crew integration. but you've got a wide variety of people in different sections of the ship doing different things. But
Please don't
somewhere
make him
along the
crew
way, they
HR.
need to work together. What'd you say, Rev?
I said, please don't make him crew HR.
No, not crew HR, but it's like, you know how like the purpose of drill is to get everybody to do their part so everything moves smoothly.
Right, ship drills.
Having him act like a coordinator.
Yeah.
Well, that's more like general training for the whole ship then, and ship readiness drills.
Yeah. Well, as a Void Master, or I mean that's his class or whatever, but like as a senior member of the ship crew, that would
Right.
fall under his purview to some extent,
And
at least.
And I guess as the rogue trader, I could offer a suggestion that while Reinhardt is training a group of troops to specialize in operations off the ship, perhaps as the Void Master, he would be best suited to teaching a group of another small group of the crew how best to fight on board the ship, say in the event of defending the ship from
Boarding actions.
or participating in a boarding action.
Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. What would that fall under?
Actually, I have to look at a character sheet. Give me a second.
But that would be something to handle in the warp. I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. I think
Yeah.
our current task is to go shopping. We obviously can handle with a hand wave all the acquisitions that we had are accomplished while we're out. But more specifically, it feels like you have something in mind for us to acquire the navigator charts.
Well, yeah, more or less. You do. I feel like you would do some inquisition. I don't know. Don't want to use that word. Inquiring about where to go for. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's what happens. At some point, as the dinner is starting to wind down, conversation is starting to get a little bit more sporadic and not really focused. Marcellus Thale does kind of lean over the desk, or excuse me, lean forward a little bit and says, Lord Captain, perhaps a few thoughts that occurred to me regarding seeking this star system. You do have the navigation charts the navigator has requested. Perhaps the map makers guild on station would be a good place to check for that. Also, perhaps searching some of the, feeling out some of the local bars and taverns and eateries for those that might have more information on where this pale flickering star might be found. A few thoughts that I have discerned.
I'm open to suggestions from the crew for how we might inquire in such an open atmosphere without attracting more attention than we already have. Clearly, there is some interest in this ship and this stone. And if the rogue trader Fell is interested in this, and we're immediately seen after getting the stone, going to bars and inquiring about specific details, we might as well be writing him a note telling him where we're going.
In that case, Lord Captain, may I recommend the the chart makers guilds, the scriveners. At the very least, we can accomplish one thing, if nothing else. Perhaps even two. Those that make the maps should know at least a little bit about the location of stars. He kind of smirks a little bit as he makes a play on words.
It's a start, I'll give you that.
I don't want to play into it, but Thale would, because he doesn't know any better. Are we off then to the scrivener's shop, as it were?
Well, no, above
Is there-
table, I literally am open for a way that we
Okay.
could creatively, amongst the people in chat, is there a way that we could creatively ask about the system, or is anyone good enough at disguising themselves to not immediately appear to be connected to the crew that they could make such inquiries? Is disguise and deception anyone's forte aside from mine?
Thale I think the Seneschal gets a bonus or two or something like that in that, or not a bonus, but I think those are. Well, deception is always a basic skill, I believe. Deceive, yes.
Yes, it is.
Disguise is also,
It is also a basic.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend.
And
Basic just means everyone can use it at half.
Yeah. Well, no, basic. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You're right.
Basic means that anyone can use it at half.
Yeah. Thale is trained in
and
such
that would
things,
give
but
me a 22.
Thale is trained. I think Thale kind of smirks a little bit when you mentioned something about, being a little disguised or what have you. But also he says, I could put on a wig and makeup, Lord Captain, but I would not recommend such a course of action for myself.
Well, I don't know if it'll come into play, but I am trained in astromancy.
The fuck is astromancy? Star magic?
You're talking about scholastic lore, astromancy?
Yes. I am trained in knowledge of the stars and their navigation.
Make an astromancy roll at challenging then. Let's see if this description triggers anything in your memory banks.
Both of us?
If you're trained in astromancy, yes.
Yeah.
That does not look good. You have a fate point that you can use if you like.
Or you can wait for me to roll.
Yeah. That's my thought at the current time.
There is that too.
But he's already spent a fate point, and I don't remember how many he has.
Oh.
Looks
You
like
get
he's
them
fine.
back every session anyway.
You know what? You rolled a fucking 15. What was your target number for astromancy or whatever?
Let me double check.
That's based off int?
43.
43. Okay. That's like 3 degrees of success. That sounds kind of close to a big success. So you actually, as you first hear the description from Anastasia about this system, a flickering star in a nebula surrounded by the void, ice rings, dusty world, something, blah, blah, blah. It takes a little while. The conversation eventually gets to going a little, almost where it stalls out a little bit, and it clicks in the back of your head. I'm saying it wrong. Magaros. And I'm going to spell it in TTS real quick for you guys.
My girls, that's where my girls are from.
No, Magoros or Magaros, or however you want to pronounce it. But the name of that system triggers in the back of your head because somewhere in your history of studying naval warfare or not naval warfare, studying something about navigating from one star to another, there's a story of a explorator fleet that went off in the general direction of Magoros and never returned. Probably because they're still out there exploring and charting bullshit that nobody will ever know about for another 1,000 years.
Well,
Hey,
I
guys.
could fly 10,000 years.
Alright, shut up, Rev.
My Lord Captain,
Yes.
does the description our navigator provided us, doesn't that sound like Magoros?
What information do we have, Navigator, on the Magaro system?
None on that system specifically, Lord Captain. It is in the Foundling Worlds. It's actually over, I think, right there. I don't have the camera that close to the map, so I believe that's about
Yeah,
where
I
it
can
is.
see it. I see it. I typed it.
She says it is in the Foundling Worlds section of the Expanse, but that would line up with the description of what I saw and what I understand of there being there. It's a dead system, Lord Captain. Although that information is probably a century or more old. Anything can happen in such a time, especially in the warp.
Navigator, you would be actually. I would with my astromancy, above board.
Mhm.
If I go and I buy map charts personally from the Mapmakers Guild. Is there any kind of confidentiality agreement, or is that information itself for sale?
That is part. That will have to be part of the conversation that you have with the Scrivener that you speak to.
I would suggest, my Lord Captain, sending me in your stead.
I would. That is a. You are knowledgeable at least as I am in the stars, and that seems like an admirable plan. However, two potential further elements of intrigue. One, if you pay someone off with guilt not to tell your secret, they know it's a secret worth selling.
Sorry, continue.
However, if you were to purchase more charts than we needed over a wide area and make specific inquiries about a number of worlds, you could perhaps hide your intentions as to where our eventual whereabouts will be.
Of course.
As to which worlds, the world where my mother was betrayed, do we know the name of that world?
I believe she did say that she was headed to somewhere. I don't have that note in front of me.
It was
Will-
definitely in the video.
Yeah.
We will. I would thought so.
Yeah.
Do
I just
we
don't
have
recall.
that information on board the ship, or was that something that was lost in the?
No, it was in the video. I don't remember specifically the name of the world, but she did say we are going to this place. If anything happens to me, that's where it probably will happen.
Okay, was she on board this ship when she went there?
Yeah.
Okay, so is information for that world on board the ship,
For that
or
world,
is it something that, or was it
go ahead.
damaged in the? Because the ship was apparently fairly damaged with a decent loss of life that they only recently recuperated from. So is that information that would have been retained or
Yes.
lost that I have to find for myself?
The information about that particular star system and a more generalized string of information, including some navigational data for your mother's domain, is kept on the ship and in the navigator's chart room. I don't know what else to call it.
Okay.
As to what happened to the ship, it was damaged to some extent, but when the mother died, Thale left that world to come to Port Wander, and it was in the warp that the ship got fucked up.
Okay, but I was just saying, was the information about that system lost, or do we still have all of that? Is what I was trying to clarify.
No, it's not lost.
Okay, so then I'm just gonna, just for quickness' sake and not accents, but I'm going to suggest, is that you inquire above table how, like, per system, like if I'm making specific inquiries and detailed charts, how much of an expense is there per system? Is it how exorbitant are we talking about, or is it a fairly minimal cost?
I think it is almost entirely a case by case. Hang on one quick second. My son was trying to get my attention, and I don't know what that hand signal meant.
Then I'm going to recommend that you inquire about at least 20 worlds and show no particular interest toward any of them.
Oh, I was going to inquire about all of the unclassified worlds on the in character, whatever I would say, for the left side of this map.
Well, I think it is a classified. It's a dead world, though.
No, it's unclassified.
Which one's that? Magoros?
Yeah. It's white.
Yeah, it's just unclassified. It's just that there's no specific details given other than obviously what we're using for this particular series.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about Colopius Magnus, Silverhammer, Choir, Repton 4, Rain, Grace, Magaros, Laristi, Hemmelshot, all of these.
Tell me about all of the stars in the Koronus Expanse. No. I fear you heard a lot of the stars.
Just the
what I said
unclassified
was
ones.
Sorry, I was about to paraphrase a quote from
At this point in the conversation, I would suggest that you not inquire about everything so close together. Make inquiries further afield so that if this information is acquired by an adversary, they can't focus on an area to intercept us at. They don't know what direction we headed out.
Lord Captain, if I may, meeting with the Scrivener and bringing a hefty... No, hold on. Let me retract that.
Bringing my hefty sack.
Yeah, well, Thale was gonna say something about briberies and whatnot, but also it wasn't gonna work because you had just said this much. Perhaps, Lord Captain, a trade of some sort to help secure the information we need. And then he looks over to Anastasia. Anastasia, my lady, do we have any navigation data of our own to, as they say, sweeten the pot? And she pauses for a moment and she says, we do have the navigational data for Regius and Omaris, but that would invite potential adversaries or competition to the Lord Captain's domicile.
So Regius and Omaris are our worlds?
Correct. Regius is what could be considered your capital world, and Omaris, you probably would have heard at least a little bit. Omaris is a world that is kind of an agro world that supports the population of Regius. Regius being something of a
flyover planet, if you will.
I guess, but Regius is kind of like I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. Regius is kind of like a, let's call it a sub-hive world. It's not quite a hive world yet, if that makes any sense.
It is an urban world.
It has definitely got a very large city that could otherwise be considered a hive, except for the fact it's not quite in the, let's say, many billions.
So the world hasn't broken out in hives yet.
Correct. They've got it. They use a cream. They have no fungus either, they think.
Let's wait till they meet Brock.
I was actually referring to orcs, but whatever.
Little toe jam.
Wow, we are doing horrible about staying on topic here.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
This is the ADHD episode right here. Squirrel?
All right. No, just make inquiries about the systems. Don't be specific as to our destination, and try not to reveal our direction. And
well, half of the entire star chart is not going to be very easy to narrow down.
Fair enough.
He does have a point, Lord Captain, if that he asks about several star systems scattered across the expanse. It is almost akin to throwing sand into the wind and expecting your adversary to not know which direction you went. And then he stops and he's like, I'm not sure if that analogy really made any sense.
We are all but sand in the wind, my friend.
Well, you guys are talking about things I don't much understand, so I'm going to retire from this conversation unless you think I am needed.
Well, what I think is that we should be in the neighborhood. We wouldn't want the person who just bought our star charts to be waylaid.
Oh yes, that's for sure.
So we should go out shopping, and possibly separately. Darius, I'm sorry, I just forgot your character's name.
Jace Sebastian.
And then Mr. Sebastian here.
For now, Jace Sebastian.
And Mr. Sebastian may leave shortly thereafter on a similar route so that we are in close proximity without being together. I'm assuming there's somewhere to shop in the general vicinity. I'm assuming the Navigators Guild would be located somewhere near a place of commerce.
Yes, it is in
Scriveners.
the Chambers of Gold, which I realize I don't have the map out. It is effectively the merchant-specific area. The Courts of the Dead are like the open courtyard merchant-y stuff, like merchant stalls and whatnot. These are like, if I remember correctly, this is closer to the actual mall versus, random food trucks on the side of the road. If that makes any sense.
It's like a
Seneschal.
like a mini mall.
Yes, Lord Captain.
Is the oil bath completed?
Jesus Christ, now I'm trying to remember what the oil bath was about.
Pistol.
His gun.
Wow, that's... Both of those words put the wrong image in my head.
You're the one who thought it.
I need to get out more. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I am told, Lord Captain, that your oil repository is ready.
No. I would have. It would have been handed on a silken pillow by a servant to be taken to the oil bath when I got back before dinner. So I'm asking if it's done.
Yes.
If it has been properly cleaned and maintained.
Yes.
And then I will say, excellent. I clap my hands together, and I say, please fetch Lucille, and we shall be on our way.
Lucille, is that your power sword or something?
No, it's the pistol.
I forget that you did all that. Oh, yeah.
Who touched Sasha?
Alright. I think we are at a good spot to stop. When we resume next week, we will meet with the Scriveners and start our venture, I believe, from there into the void. Depending, unless, of course, that we get waylaid by 101 squirrels of a different variety or sorts. Everybody receives... I'm sorry?
I was going to say, Fel has many minions.
That he does. On that note, as our final, maybe there's like credits rolling or whatever, and then we catch a post-credit moment, and we see a ship similar to yours, perhaps larger, perhaps not, it's unclear, but a ship of a similar make to your own separates from Port Wander, and as it turns towards the outer rings of the system, we catch a view of its nameplate, and it says Hand of Fel. And then we catch a good shot of the engines flaring to life, and then it fades to black. Everybody gets 200 experience points.
200?
200. Unfortunately, there was too many squirrels to allow for the additional 50 that I wanted to give.
All right.
And I say that in a joke. I don't mean that, in a
so
whatever.
Just to make sure that I'm on the same basis, between XP spent and 2 spend, we should have because I got off on mine.
Yep.
From the first week, and I'm wanting to make sure that my total is still correct. We should have a total of spent and unspent of those of us who've been here for all the sessions. Sorry, Darius. Of 5,200.
5,700 by my count.
250.
5,700.
Yep, that's right. I don't know where I fucked up in my own head, because I was thinking 5,650. I don't know where I came up 50 short. But yes, 5,700.
5150 is a great Van Halen album.
It also spells something, but we're not going to say that. 5,700 is the number for all of you except Darius. Darius, you should be at 5,450, if that sounds right.
Correct.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Let's do some feedback and outros. Rodance, you're always first. You didn't get a lot of screen time tonight, and I'm sorry for that.
My work stuff's still broken, so I'm literally have that over sitting like right here because I'm having to babysit that still. I can't go to bed until it's fixed.
Oh, that is so rude.
I'm sorry. I was trying to give everybody openings so that I wasn't dominating and give everybody sort of a creative outlet.
I think
well,
sometimes
Rev,
it
as
happens.
the Lord Captain, you kind of are going to dominate every session.
I agree with that statement. Maybe not necessarily.
To a degree, I understand, but I'm also trying to give an opening for everybody to have their chance to roleplay.
I felt like I had a plan.
Well, I found today even if you had given me an opening today, I wouldn't really have had the mental capacity to do it because I'm having to actively babysit this.
I understand.
So.
If there's anything like specific on board the ship you can think of that would sort of be something to do, you can PM me off and we can sort of workshop it if you want.
Yeah, I think it'll be funny because Winter, because she was press ganged, is exceptionally prickly about taking and following orders. She does not like being told what to do very well, which I think is freaking hilarious because you are clearly from a noble house raised by nobles and just give orders,
without even
par
thinking
for the
about
course.
it. He speaks, and it becomes an order without realizing.
Oh yeah,
that
so she doesn't like being ordered around, but she literally has to make, I think, a will check to fake surrender or surrender to like imprisonment. It's pretty bad. It's literally called jealous freedom, and I have to pass a willpower test to willingly go along with a loss of freedom.
Yeah. On the topic,
I think that'll be hilarious in the future.
It will be. It will be. I think on the topic of finding something to do on the ship, one thing that I've been considering about how I want to work.
We've officially closed out the session. This is just kind of the after session chat.
No, we're still screen.
We're still streaming.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yep, we're still streaming. But one thing I was considering was there are is it Into the Storm or the Navis Primer? I don't remember which, but there's
Into the Storm has ship rolls.
Thank you. Yes.
Page 224.
Yep. That is something that I want to work in to add some more layers or depth to the individual characters and their roles on the ship. Things that they can do. So that way, we can do a little bit more than just basically follow the rogue trader around and do whatever he says to do. Anything else, Rodance? I know you're up to your eyeballs in stupid work shit. Sorry.
It's funny because Alteros has the same section of background as I do because we were on the same pirate ship.
Yeah. So
we're going to be difficult in different ways, I think.
And that will be an interesting series of things to watch. Alterios?
We haven't worked together enough as a group to be cohesive for it to come up yet. Yeah. But I think in another few sessions it's going to be freaking hilarious.
I think so too. And I think that's a great transition to Alterios. Feedback, etc. And when are you and Winter planning on staging a coup aboard the Acheron's ferry?
I don't know. Give it maybe like 2 more sessions.
2 more sessions? Wow, bold of you. Okay. I figured you'd want a little bit more time to lay down some better roots.
I was.
Whenever I can buy the Dominate. Yeah, it happens whenever I buy the Dominate Psyker power.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Things got dark quick.
Yes, it did. Alterios, what thoughts you got? You also, unfortunately, did not get a lot of screen time tonight. Something I'm working on doing better about as we move forward, by the way.
It's fine. Like, Explorator doesn't really have much to do on the ship. It seems like it was meant to be an explorer.
I don't know your... this is a question, genuine curiosity. I don't know your talents and traits, but I know as an explorator you're mostly focused on finding new technology, but would you have any role in the actual navigation and or exploration of the ship, or would you mostly be focused on maintenance?
As a mechanic, it's probably just maintenance. I don't have any astropath or astral navigation kind of stuff. So
I think to some degree you have some control on that. Obviously being AdMech, there's going to be a lot of focus on the turning wrenches and whatnot, but also part of the Explorator fleets or whatever.
Never mind. I do have Scholastic Lore Astromancy.
Yeah, so I think
I totally forgot about that.
Well, you have that and you have tech use, so that's useful in the field when it comes to oh, hey, look, a whole pile of Archaeotech. Let's go find out more. You know what I mean? Or chasing down old stories about treasure ships that disappeared.
You think a member of the Mechanicus would just say, "Oh, hey, Archaeotech"?
No. But but when you think about it, they the explorators definitely have a certain, I mean, it's kind of in the name, exploration bent to them. So it's not just turning wrenches. I guess it's just a matter of which direction Alterios wants to go with the Karos.
Not sure yet.
And that's totally fine. Like, this is only episode 3. So. Anything else? Do you have anything? I feel like maybe we talked over you, so I apologize.
No, I just went. I got lost in tables. I started looking at all the crap I could actually get, and then like, yeah.
No worries. No worries.
Well, just as a heads up,
Mm-hmm.
both for the GM, since there are some self-inserted, not NPCs,
Mm-hmm.
as you will. Maybe not self-inserts per se, but definitely GM-controlled NPCs. I use the term self-insert a little too liberally sometimes.
One of them is meant to be something of an insert, but definitely NPCs with specific roles and or intentions.
I wonder which seneschal that is.
Where's my fucking pen at? Anyway, you were saying something.
But no, just as kind of a heads up and food for thought for everybody. Probably one of the things I'm going to be doing on Warp Travel is individually approaching each of the crew members, key crew members, in private settings, and sort of asking if they have any goals or ambitions or interests that I can help further. And not just so that I can delve into people's backstories, but above the table here, my character knows that when you help people accomplish things, you earn loyalty.
Yes. And don't worry, because Anastasia and Marcellus will have content for you. And I use the word content in a very broad stroke sort of way.
Oh my, do I have to pay for it?
No, this will be all basic content. It will also come with advertisements.
It's subscriber content.
Warner!
Sup?
You had some screen time. Definitely more than
I did.
most. What sort of feedback and other thoughts, comments do you have?
I think that things went reasonably well. There was a little bit of repeating things when it came to the acquisitions.
Yeah,
if everybody had been listening at the same time when that was originally explained, we could have saved some time, but
No, I'm just thick-headed. It didn't absorb the first time.
in any case,
also
I feel like we need to have a lesson on how to turn to the appropriate page in the book.
so that's a problem with this whole system. The appropriate page in the book is not easy to find. Like,
and cross-references other pages as well.
yeah, I told Omar about that section about the planet sizes, and that should be in with the acquisitions, but it's not. So these books aren't laid out particularly well. Stuff that is related to each other can be all over the place, and it just comes with experience.
Games Workshop didn't do something logically?
I feel like these books are put together fairly well, but I will admit, of course, that doesn't mean that they are perfect, because they are not. But that's my
I
think
seem to
that-
punish you if you haven't read them completely. Like it does seem to almost be like, well, you see, if you didn't, if you just read this other page here, you would understand that the planet size would have.
Ha ha ha, you're disadvantaged because you didn't read Appendix C.
Oh, Jesus! Okay. Let's let Warner finish what he's saying, because
I'm sorry.
no, we're
It's
all
all
really
right.
bad, I think, about staying on task, and we are on Warner. So Warner, please continue.
Yeah, that's just a challenge with the system that we're going to have to deal with.
Yeah.
Some of these things are spread and sprinkled all over different parts of the book, and as we play more and get more familiar with things, it won't take so long. But here at the beginning, it totally will.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with a group where the experience level is not as high as maybe other shows or groups might be. Because I know, Warner, you're familiar with the system in general, if not necessarily Rogue Trader in specific. And I think, for the most part, the rest of us are fairly new to it.
I've played 2 campaigns of Dark Heresy, a one-shot of Rogue Trader, a campaign of Rogue Trader, and we started and had to abandon a campaign of Dark Heresy Ascension.
Well, my brain is just confused. It's like, what do you mean we don't just spend gold to buy what we want?
It's literally in the book, though. The words are something to the effect of, it doesn't matter what it costs. If you have the profit factor for it, it's yours. No questions asked.
Except we're still rolling.
Well, I mean, you still, yes, you have to roll, but you don't have to keep track of how many coins are in your pocket. You could just literally say, I give him a few coins, and now it's mine.
Right. I understand. I'm not disagreeing or
Yeah.
anyway.
Warner,
Was there
anything else?
No, I am going to continue to give some thought to what I can do aboard the ship.
You specifically in those ship rolls have a few choices as the arch militant, so I'll be curious to see what those are when the time comes, which will be in the next few sessions. I'll figure out how to best work it in.
One of the things that is somewhat frustrating as I look through that right now is that most of them say they require command, which is something I can't even pick up till rank 3.
Which is weird for an arch militant.
Yeah, it might be, but yeah, that skill's not available for me till rank 3, and we're in rank 1.
Yeah, and you got a little ways to go yet. Darius, you didn't get a lot of screen time, but you did get some, and you had a pretty good idea near the end. What kind of feedback and outro thoughts do you have?
Well, I am glad that I will be getting more
Stuff.
Well, not just more stuff, but more in the next session.
Screen time? Is that the word you were looking for?
Yes.
Good. My psychic spider senses were actually working that time. And there they go. They're done. There's no more spider psych. Yes, and on that note, like, I am considering trying to figure out some different, like, storylines or little I think in the industry they're called like B plots or whatever, for the characters to get after, so it's not just always it's not always the rogue trader and his minions, because currently it kind of feels that way, and I feel like everybody should have a fair chance at screen time. Obviously, with this game, the way it's set up, the rogue trader is kind of the central point, and that's fine, but he is not. He's also a single player at the table, and everybody needs their fair chance. So, anything else, Darius, before I move on?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, speaking of the central character, not necessarily the central player, Rev, what do you got?
Well, I am the central player, but
No, you're not. You might be in the central time zone, and you might be in the center of the screen. You are not the central player.
show might as well be named
you'll have
the
to
Rev.
ask the ladies for that.
The show might as well be named the Rev Everett Hour.
No.
Anyway.
No, the fuck it won't.
No. I'm eager for other people to have a little bit of story. I do feel like there's a couple times when either I left it open and was ready to move on, and there was sort of a dead silence, and sometimes I either had to, like, say, okay, so we move on to the next point, or try to set something up so we could move on when I felt like it was an obvious move on, or I was waiting for other people to interject, and they either didn't have anything. But if I give an opening for someone to say something, feel free to say, I have nothing to add at this time, Lord Captain, just so we can keep on going.
That's a fair point. Yeah, just even if that's, I have nothing to add, is better than the silence, because it's easier for everybody to understand that versus the blank of uncertainty.
Yeah, silence could be somebody taking a minute to collect their thoughts and speak.
Yeah. Anything else? Either he's collecting his thoughts or his mic shut?
No, I was making a point.
Yeah, I figured. I had a feeling. That's why I said that.
But no, that was basically it. I look forward to having another acquisition roll because I'm greedy. That was actually my whole reason for chasing squirrels this round was because I knew that would give us an extra acquisition.
Yeah, I bet. Well played. Not really.
Ooh, an extra acquisition when we go
Actually,
to find the maps.
Now that we know we can get an acquisition every round that we're in Panic, can we retcon acquisition rolls for last session?
No.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I have to draw the line somewhere. You fuckers will be all over it.
All right, we need to stay here for the next 3 sessions, guys.
All right, fuck off. We're not doing that. All right. I'm going to move on to my final part. That is it for us here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the show, please consider liking and subscribing either here on Twitch or on YouTube, wherever it is that you're watching us. Please also consider joining the Discord server. You can find a link for that. I really ought to move this paragraph in my notes to the beginning and not the end, but you can find the Discord link in the description for this video if you're watching it on YouTube, or in the Twitch chat if you type !Discord. That's the little, the line with the dot under it. Don't spell out !. It's not going to work. But if you do that, you'll get the link for the Discord server. You can come down there, join the server, hang out with us, talk to us, tell us how we're doing well and how we're not doing well. And of course, if we screw anything up in the lore or the rules, and you want to call us out on it, give us a page number, a book and page number for the rules in the comments. We'll take a look at it and probably not retcon what we screw up, but definitely move correctly as we move forward. That came out a little bit jumbled. I'll have to work on that.
Same team bonus.
What's that?
Same team bonus.
Yeah.
Help us out, and we'll appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. But at any rate, stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grim, dark world. So make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. As for me and mine, we're out of here. Have a good night. We'll see you next time. And then I forgot I got Alt-Tab and